안녕하세요. 원다입니다. 콜롬비아 대학교는 뉴욕에 있는 아이비리그 사립대학입니다. 현재까지 세계에서 하버드 다음으로 두 번째로 많은 101명의 노벨상 수상자들을 배출했으며 3명의 미국 대통령, 9명의 연방대법원 대법관, 29명의 해외 국가원수, 121명의 퓰리처상 수상자, 28명의 아카데미상 수상자, 20명의 억만장자를 배출했습니다. 그 예로 버락 오바마, 워렌 버핏을 들 수 있습니다. 이 기사는 주디 주의 콜롬비아 대학 졸업연설에 대한 기사인데요. 이 기사에서는 주디 주가 졸업연설을 통해 위험이 있더라도 졸업생들이 그들의 열정을 따르도록 격려함으로써 콜롬비아 대학 졸업반 학생들에게 영감을 주었다라고 말하고 있습니다. 주디 주는 연설을 하는 도중 자연스럽게 자신의 부모님 이야기와 자신이 어떻게 살아왔는지를 이야기하게 되는데요. 한국의 이민자로서 미국에 살면서 어려운 환경이었지만 의사가 된 그녀의 아버지 이야기, 그리고 석사학위를 따기 위해 홀로 미국으로 건너온 어머니 이야기를 하게 됩니다. 그녀의 이야기를 듣던 콜롬비아 졸업생 부모들은 지원 하나 없이 똑똑한 머리와 피나는 노력으로 의사가 된 그녀의 아버지를 향해 감탄의 눈길을 보내며 입을 다물지를 못합니다. 물론 그녀의 이야기에서도 많은 영감을 받습니다. 함께 들어보시죠.
And it is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Judy Joo is a celebrated Korean-American chef patron, television personality, author, and restaurateur. She is considered the foremost expert on Korean cooking in the West and a pioneer in spreading appreciation for Korean cuisine around the world. She's a regular face on morning shows on the Food Network, regularly writes for numerous publications, and pens a monthly column for OK Magazine, profiling celebrity chefs from all around America. We are thrilled to have her here with us today to give the keynote address. Please join me in welcoming Judy Joo.
Good afternoon. Wow, I cannot believe that I'm actually here. President Bollinger, Dean Boyce, the Board of Trustees, and members of the Columbia faculty and staff, thank you for granting me this incredible honor. And congratulations to the class of 2018! Now, I remember some 20-odd years ago when I was sitting where you are now. Admittedly, I was a bit hungover and struggling to stay awake. We didn't have Red Bull or Adderall back then, just good old Mountain Dew and coffee. So if some of you doze off, I understand. I've been there, and this explains why, when I was asked to deliver this speech, the first thing I did was look up who spoke at my class day, because I couldn't remember it all, let alone anything that was said. So I had to do some research in hope of finding some direction. I scoured the internet. I watched hours of commencement speeches, and I learned a few things. The first actually answered a question I already had in my mind. Why on earth would Dean Boyce ask me? Here I am, watching President Obama, Conan O'Brien, Steve Jobs, mega celebrities. Why was I, a chef of all things, asked to partake in such an honor? Yes, I can cook 5 dishes, including a dessert highlighting a single random ingredient like an octopus in 1 hour flat. But is that really a worthy skill? Well, the answer I found is simple. It's because Columbia has 2 rules in order to speak here at this very podium. 1, you have to be an alum, and 2, you have to be alive. Still, it never occurred to me that I would be returning to campus in my cap and gown in this capacity, and as a result, I began to reflect on my 4 years here. And I realized that my memory is actually quite spotty. I remember some things very vividly, and other things not at all, like the majority of my classes. I took about 4 levels of calculus, linear algebra, ordinary differential equations, and now I can barely split the bill or even calculate tip. So, yes, that just demonstrates how much time has passed and how much has changed since I was here. Another poignant example is that the Subway was just $1.25 back then. A slice of cornet pizza down the street was $1. Yeah, exactly, right? But what perhaps really puts this into perspective is that all of my classmates and I, and some of them are sitting right there, hello, all of my classmates and I have one numerical digit next to our initials and our Columbia email addresses. We were literally the first class here with email. Yeah, we're that old. Okay. One thing, though, that has not changed, and I do remember well, is being fearful. I was fearful when I first walked onto this campus as a freshman, and especially when I was sitting where you are today. I was scared for my future. I wasn't even going to become an engineer. I went straight to the exciting yet cutthroat world of Wall Street, where I embarked upon a career in fixed income derivatives. I didn't even know what that meant. What you have to realize, though, is that everyone is scared. What is going to set you apart is how you deal with that fear, how you can power through it. And if you have the relentless determination, fortitude, and sheer tenacity to transform all of that nervous energy and anxiety into courage. Courage to try, courage to take risks, and courage to face failure. Especially now, in your 20s, this is the time to be daring. You are freer now than you ever will be. And in the world, it is the time to be brave, to disrupt. We are seeing all traditional models and certainties vanish. I left my cushy, high-paying job in finance to pursue cooking. Now, that daring move wasn't in the playbook, and it most certainly was not in my parents' well-thought-out life plan for me, especially after all they had sacrificed for my education. But I had become disenchanted with the banking world, and as cliché as it does sound, I felt that life was too short to live a dream that someone else had for me. I had to at least try to pursue my passion and what I really wanted to do. So I decided to downgrade my life, work longer hours for less pay, and I entered the world of the culinary arts. Jumping off the fast track and away from a handsome paycheck, though, was very hard. I went from sitting in a nicely air-conditioned office behind a computer to standing for 15-plus hours a day behind a hot stove. I traded in my weekly spa manicures for hands and arms covered in burns, bruises, and cuts. In the evenings, instead of going out with friends or clients to a 3-Michelin star dinner, I cooked one. And at the end of the night, instead of going home happily buzzing with a belly full of Dom Perignon and foie gras, I found myself covered in sweat, with an aching back, swollen feet, and a rather wounded ego. Of course, I often questioned my decision, especially when I had to do hours of mundane, menial work, like picking the stems off of hundreds of spinach leaves. I bet you never even noticed that. I hope now you'll appreciate that effort next time you have a salad. Okay? But I just kept at it and said, yes, chef. Because deep down, I knew that leaving finance was the best thing that I ever did. And as hard as it was, I did not give up. I knew that success would come because I loved cooking, and that's where my talent lied. I call it living outside the comfort zone. And I believe that it is this willingness to be daring, to take risks, and to be a disruptor has allowed me to shoot for the stars and to catch a few of them along the way. Parents, no doubt, right now, you are wishing that there was a different speaker standing here. After all, who goes to an Ivy League school? I mean, how much does this place cost now? Okay. To peel potatoes for a living. I understand. I am the daughter of 2 Korean immigrants. Mom and dad are right there. I am the product of tiger parenting. I had 3 piano lessons a week. I spent my summers in nerd camp. I was groomed to be a doctor, just like my dad. My mom came to the United States alone, which was unheard of back then, to pursue a master's degree. My father, the 8th of 9 kids, fled North Korea with his family when he was 6 and grew up in a refugee camp. Yeah, mom and dad are amazing.
다음 2부에서 주디주의 나머지 연설을 들려드리도록 하겠습니다. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 원더였습니다.